I'm going to get started officially here. So thanks for joining, Ashley. Thanks for joining, Kevin. Today we're here to discuss the top 5 key elements of your website that you must use to increase your leads and revenue. Okay. So the agenda for today is as follows. Why should you trust the best media? We're going to deep dive into that to understand where we've been and the reason why you should trust the best media in terms of our recommendations for this webinar. Who is your ideal client equals personas, overview of the 5 key elements. We're going to deep dive into each of the 5 key elements. We're going to hot seat your websites if you agree to that. And then we have some limited time offers available only to attendees of the webinar in terms of how we can help you achieve better results with your website. And yes, moving forward, why should you trust the best media? So first and foremost, we are professionals and entrepreneurs ourselves. So we're driven by results, and we're very excited and passionate to help other businesses succeed. And we found this to be our happy place here at the Best Media. We've been in business for 20 plus years with a focus on helping businesses reach their ideal audiences online. So serving over 1,000 clients, we've developed hundreds of high converting websites. So we've, literally tried everything under the sun, and we continue to learn more as we go on. We're a team of experts covering all aspects of digital marketing. And because of the rapid change in technology and new platforms, new strategies, we're always learning and we never stop improving. This is a must-have today for any digital marketing agency. Things are changing rapidly, as I said, so you always need to be learning what's new, what's coming up, and continue to test and so on. So we're bringing you all that value today in this webinar, and let's move on to who is your ideal client or personas. Can anyone here tell me, have you ever tried or do you have personas for your business right now? Kevin, Ashlyn, maybe just throw something into the Q&A if you've ever attempted to, or if you still have, or maybe you do have personas created. And as you're doing that, how do we define a persona? Because it's important to understand, what is a persona? How do we define that? So personas are fictional characters that we create based upon our research, and it represents the different user types that might use your service, your product, your website, or your brand. Creating personas are going to definitely help you understand what your users' needs are, their experiences, their behaviors, and their goals. So we need to speak to each persona, because oftentimes any business has not just one, but multiple personas. So these are the different types of ideal clients that you serve. And there's definitely more than one, and we need to speak to each of them differently. We need to understand what each persona's problems are. What are their fears? What are their hopes? What are their goals? Some may overlap, but a lot of this will be different. And once this is done properly, you're going to notice growth in engagement with all your website, with your page views, increased frequency of visits, and overall leads and sales. We had a client, we helped them create one persona, and it has literally changed the whole performance of their social media campaign. Their construction company on the east end of Canada, and before us helping them to create their persona, they were unable to get engagement. They were unable to get people that were sharing their posts, engaging with their posts, commenting, etc. Now they understand who their audience is, who they're speaking to, and they specifically had a challenge to hire better, more efficiently. So we helped them to understand who their audience is in terms of potential employees they were attempting to target over social media, and the results are unbelievable and phenomenal. So This is so important, and oftentimes the most overlooked aspect of any marketing campaign. Everyone's always quick to say, okay, do we use Facebook ads? Do we got to use Google ads? Do we do SEO? Should we do this? Should we do that? Before any practical marketer can prescribe any one of those strategies or tactics, we need to understand who is your audience. And once you have a proper, accurate persona created, then you can speak to them in a way that is effective, is engaging, and converts. So it's critically important. So let's review a live persona example. This is a live persona example that we use here for our business. And yeah, this is what it looks like. So I'm going to zoom in a bit. This is a construction owner operator persona, and as you can see, this is a fictional person, so it's not a real person, although it might look real. This is what we came up with based on interviews with our past clients and so on. And yeah, name Joe Siddall. We have the age, occupation, location, bio. The bio gets into a lot of detail here, and I'd love to just share the last paragraph here, which creates a lot of insights into this persona. So as you can see, the last paragraph of the bio: in his private sphere, Joe is married with 2 children. Although work brings him great financial satisfaction, it also deprives him of many family moments. Work-life balance is a sensitive issue. So definitely a key talking point when attempting to communicate with Joe. This is something that's going to engage his emotions, and just a small example of how we can speak to them at the right level of where they are at. Once we do this properly, it'll be like you're reading their mind. Jobs to be done. He wants to continue to grow his company, positioning himself as the market leader in his industry. So these are all great insights into this person, into what their challenges are, what their goals are, etc. Now we jump into the pains. Again, I'm just going to stick to the last bullet point here. He has repeatedly had to deal with unreliable, untrustworthy suppliers, a disappointment that has led to him being suspicious at times. So this creates valuable insights and allows us opportunities to speak to Joe in a way that is on the same level where he's at, and allow us to provide solutions to the challenges, problems he's currently facing. And then we get even into the personality of Joe as well. And at the bottom here, we have a customer journey. So the black dot in the middle here signifies a conversion event. This is when this persona is going to spend money with your business. So we have the 3 stages before that, the 3 stages after that, with details in each of the stage covering what does he think, what motivates him, what's holding him back, what information is he looking for, and in which format. So once you have all of this information, it literally gives you the right ammunition to communicate with your audience in a way that will completely change the performance of your marketing activities. So I can't encourage you enough to create your personas or get a professional to create them, because without this, it's kind of like having a GPS that works well, but you don't have an address. You don't know where you're going. So you're kind of just guessing. So I'm sure any of you can relate. If you don't have the right address, your GPS is not going to take you there. And in this case, your GPS is your marketing strategy. It's all based on who is your audience. So this is why I spent a lot of time on this. It's deeply important and critical to the success of any business. So I hope that was valuable for you there. And moving on now. Once we understand who we're talking to, now we can create the 5 key elements in a way that is the best for your business. Number 1, hero section. Hero section of your website, we're going to get into a deep dive, understanding all the different elements that we need to focus on. Number 2, authority amplification. Number 3, overview of services. Number 4, case studies. Number 5, lead magnet. These are the 5 key elements any website must focus on. And yeah, let's deep dive into them. Number one, hero section. The first thing is the instant reaction. What is the instant response when visiting any website? And this is where we trigger the reptilian brain response. So what does that mean? Basically, we have 3 seconds at the most to capture the attention of our website visitors. 3 seconds, that's it. Usually this section is way too busy and includes too much text, too much graphics, or too much video. It's just overwhelmingly too much content to digest in 3 seconds. Therefore, the reptilian brain response comes in, fight or flight, and this is the opposite of where you want your ideal website visitor to be. They need to be calm. They need to be in a state of peace in order to digest your website and the benefits that you can provide to them. So we don't want them to feel overwhelmed. We want their instant reaction to be, okay, this is the right place for me. And how do they do that? They have to quickly, in 3 seconds, understand what is it. Visitors need to instantly understand they are in the right place. What product or service do you offer? This should be communicated in a short and sweet way, usually in 1 sentence, similar to an elevator pitch. Then we need to also communicate what problems does this solve for your visitors? What are the consequences if these problems are not resolved? All of this needs to be communicated into the hero section, and we're not done. Next, we're moving into who is this for? So we need to speak in a way that communicates, hey, this is for you. You are the right audience for our website. And this is where the personas come in, right? So does it speak directly to their problems? And then creating personas so you can speak to them like you're inside their mind, solving their problems that keep them up at night. So who is it for? Very important for the hero section. The last item under the hero section, we need to ensure, and it amazes me sometimes how we forget to include a call to action, because without this, I'm not going to say impossible to convert, but nearly impossible to convert. So what do you want me to do? This is the call to action, CTA by abbreviation. And literally it has to be an exact action you want the user to take. So you must tell them, even if it's just a click the button to book an appointment, you literally need to tell them what to do. This action must not be a difficult action. We need to make it as easy as possible. So I'd like to ask anybody in attendance, who here has all of these elements in place for their hero section? And if you can enter this into the Q&A section, that'd be great. Yeah, just a simple yes or no if you have all of these elements in place for the hero section. Oftentimes, our clients have some of these in place, and even when they do have some of these in place, so we got our first yes. That's amazing. You'll find that it's not completely done to best practices as listed in the above list here. So yeah, take your time to go through each of these sub points here and ensure that you're covering everything. Okay, moving on. Number 2, authority amplification. No one will spend money with your business if they don't trust you, if they don't trust your business. So this is the foundation of authority amplification, and I'm sure everyone can agree to this. So how do we get trusted quickly? Adding our client logos to the website is usually the first step. So especially if you have some larger clients that are well known with big brands, you definitely want to share their logos on your website. So list them all. This could quickly build trust, credibility. I would suggest using PNG files, which means they remove the background of the logo, and the logo files are added as consistently as possible in terms of size, layout, etc. So this is usually best practice. That's what I would recommend. After client logos, what else can we do to increase trust and credibility? Google reviews. Google reviews is becoming one of the most visited places people go to trust a business or to find out if a business is trustable. And what do? They look for reviews. They look to see what activities they've been taking, if there's any posts recently, and pictures posted, videos posted on their Google My Business profile. You could even list your services, your products, promotions, all kinds of things, hours of operation, etc. So your Google reviews are very important, and I would recommend using a tool like ElfSite to stream live reviews from your Google My Business profile to your website. So what does that mean? Anytime someone posts a review on Google about your business, it would automatically show on your website as well as the past reviews, of course. And then always replying back to all reviews in a professional way, regardless. Good review, bad review, doesn't matter. The best practice is to always reply back to them, even if it's a bad review. Continuing on with the authority amplification achievements. So let's say you've been nominated Forbes Top 100 Businesses of the Year. Of course, that's a notable achievement. You want to put that on your website, but usually that's not the case. We're usually striving to find, okay, what achievements can we put on our website? So what I would recommend, listing anything relevant to the product or services that you offer. This might require you to become creative sometimes, but definitely don't lie. Definitely don't lie. It could easily backfire on you. So some examples would be, we have used things like decreased bounce rate by 39% overnight, very specific, very result oriented, or increased organic traffic by 208% in 6 months' time. So these are noticeable achievements, and we're getting a little bit creative here. And again, based on every business, you have to find what is relevant to your audience, what is relevant to their challenges, their problems, and how it is going to benefit them. So yeah, for our audience, these are definitely things that they want, and these are simple examples. So I hope it's coming across properly. But the PR is press release. So another quick, easy way to add credibility and authority. I'm sure everyone has seen as seen on certain websites, and this is Fox News, ABC News, etc. So these can all be done by a press release. Press releases usually get posted to all different website outlets like Fox News websites and ABC News websites, and therefore allowing you to use the as seen on strategy and listing the brands like Fox News, CNN, etc. So that would be my recommendation to quickly get some authority if you're running out of ideas, if you're not able to get creative, or maybe you want to do a combination of all the above. So who here has all of these elements in place for authority amplification? Let's see if anybody here has anything to comment on here in terms of authority amplification. We'll wait for some. Okay, Ashlyn, not at all. Yeah, definitely, Ashlyn, you want to add that in, and I hope those points were helpful. And yeah, sometimes, like I said, you just got to get creative with it. So moving on to number 3, overview of the products and services. This should be simple, right? We should just be able to list our products or services. What's the big deal? Why are we talking about this? What I found is usually we complicate the simple. Complexity is the enemy of execution. It's one of my favorite sayings from Tony Robbins, and it's so true. Something I still struggle with today, and it's where we take something that should be simple and make it complicated. So we don't want to complicate, we want to simplify. Creating unique, disruptive, and engaging titles for your services or products to stand out from the competition is where we should start. For example, we call our SEO services the best SEO. This goes with our brand, ties it in, makes it a little bit different. You want to create different, disruptive, engaging titles so that you stand out from the competition. That's what that does. Yeah, and simplifying what you do in terms of services. We don't want paragraphs. We want short, sweet sentences as much as possible. Next, who do you do it for? So who is your ideal client? Are you speaking to them and their problems? And again, this goes back and ties into how you will solve their problems with your products or services. And the foundation for all of that, again, is with the persona. So you can speak to them literally like you're reading their mind. And then lastly, why do you do it? Why do you provide these services? Why do you offer these products? And this is where we express and tell the story behind your business and your brand and why you do what you do. This is where conversion and loyalty and engagement truly takes place, because there's a lot of people selling the same thing, but it's the brand stories that will create or disrupt the attention of someone, across all your competitors. That will make you stand out. So an example of a technique that we like to use is to ask why at least 4 times when we talk to our audience or our clients about why do they do a certain thing. And I'll give you a quick example. It might be a little bit silly, but I think it's going to drive home the point here. So, oftentimes we'll ask our clients, well, why do you want to increase leads and revenue for your business? First answer is usually something like, well, we need to make more revenue. We want to increase revenue. Okay, that makes sense. So why do you want to increase revenue? Because we want to make more money, obviously. Why do you want to make more money? So I can, support my family. Okay. And you keep on asking why until you get to the root. Why do you want to support your family? I want to support my family because when I was young, I experienced a challenging, strict financial upbringing where my family wasn't able to afford anything special. I never had any brand name sneakers or shoes because we were so poor, and I don't want the same for my family. So now, all of a sudden, instead of just wanting to make more money, you understand the true emotion behind why they want to make that money. And you can speak to them on that level. And you can remind them, hey, we're doing this because you need to support your family, because you don't want them to grow up the same way you grew up, and you want them to have experiences and possibilities that are not limited by money or finances. So this is how, a technique that we use, and should be used at least 4 times. And, sometimes people get a little pissed off because you're asking the same thing over and over, but truly it does dig and drive you down to the root. And this is what we want to do, because this is truly answering why you do something. And this creates the story behind the brand now. So this should be very specific and unique to you. And I hope that made sense, and that example was articulated properly there. Next point, why are you different? So what makes you different? There's usually a lot of competitors doing what you do. So why are you different? Why should anyone pay attention to you or your business? So how do you stand out from the competition? We need to communicate that in a way that speaks to your audience's problems, goals, challenges, pain points. So who here has all of these elements in place for their products or services? And again, I'm going to guess that some of you have some of them, maybe most of them, but not all of them. Yep, same answer. So not at all. I get it. So things definitely that we need to work on. Next, moving on to point number 4, case studies. This is a section where you're going to showcase the best results of what you can do. We need to make it easy to digest. We don't want lengthy case studies that are pages and pages and paragraphs of text that nobody wants to read. That's not going to work. People will skim through it and they won't even digest any of it. So another point, we need to specify the details of the results as specifically as possible. For example, We achieved a 39% decrease in bounce rate. Very, very specific. So why don't we jump into an example of a case study that we use for one of our clients, deckremodelers.com. So I'm going to open that up for us right now. So on my screen, let me make this a little bit bigger. So here is a case study. As you can see, the brand Deck Remodelers, and what we did is we created a custom website design and used smart video content on the website. And we instantly reduced their bounce rate overnight by 39%. Then we go into a background or an overview of the client, what they do, what is the challenge, what solution did we implement, and then the results. And this is where the majority of your audience is going to pay attention. They're just going to quickly skim to the results. They want to know, what were you able to do for someone else, and what can you do for me? So here, as you can see, results, 39% decrease in bounce rate, 57% increase in page views, 44% increase in pages per session. So, and then there's some other additional benefits here. And then we included a screenshot from their actual Google Analytics account that show all of the numbers that were mentioned above here, showing the decrease in bounce rate and so on. And in this graph here, you're going to see the blue line as their 2022 bounce rate, and then the orange line is their 2021 bounce rate. So we're comparing the same periods year over year. And as you can see, this sudden drop is once we completed the updates to their website. Basically, look at what happened. Their bounce rate went down by 39%. So this is amazing. And then all the other metrics is green across the board. So this is exactly what you need done, especially if you're trying to drive organic traffic to your website. Google wants a fast loading website where people are spending time on. They're looking at a lot of pages. They're coming back frequently, and they're sharing your website. So this is an example of a case study. I suggest a short, simple, sweet format like that. And yeah, get to work, start creating them. Formats in terms of once you have your case studies, how can you use them? So you're going to use them as a PDF, example that I just showed you right now. I also recommend, if you have resources, create a video. So this could be done a few different ways. Creating a video of maybe you or your team member narrating the case study, going through what happened, or even better, interviewing the actual client. And you're asking them these questions, basically everything that's listed in the case study, just in an interview style. That would be the ideal scenario of a case study. And then you could use that to promote on your YouTube, to send to your clients over email, etc. And then lastly, I recommend taking that same content in your case studies and putting them into carousel posts for your social media. It would be completely ridiculous to put that PDF as a small graphic. No one will be able to read the text. So what we need to do is take the highlights of the case study, put them into a carousel post. I don't know, maybe 5, 6, 7 different slides for that carousel that covers all the meat and potatoes of your case study. And that's how you should do that, posting it on LinkedIn, on Instagram, Facebook, etc. So that's how you would use that for your social media. So here, who has all of this in place for their case studies? I'm going to guess, I'm going to take a big guess. Probably no one. And yeah, that's what I'm seeing here. So let's get to work on building your case studies. Let's get to work on creating videos from them, and then even some carousel posts. So you're going to be able to publish that all over social media. Number 5, this is the last of the elements here, lead magnet. Why do we want a lead magnet? So that we can collect email or an SMS text number from your ideal audience. It was told to me from, I can't remember which expert I follow, but one email is equal to approximately, you can value it at $1. So as you're building your list, what's my point with that statement? Your list has value. So when someone comes to your website, one of the primary goals is to collect their email or SMS number. Why? So you can continue to communicate with them, nurture them, etc. So this is the goal of your website. This should be the goal of your lead generation campaigns, etc. So a lead magnet can be used for all of those. But having it on your website that speaks to your audience in a powerful way is what is highly recommended, best practice, so that you can collect that email. No one's just going to give you an email for no reason. It has to be a value exchange. So they're going to give you an email, but you need to give them some value. So how do we do this? Actually, before that, my apologies. The purpose of this is to instantly provide value, create credibility, trust, and authority. So we do this by giving that user a quick win. How do we do this? Through our process called SAGE. I learned this from literally the world's leading Facebook ad strategist called Nicholas Kusmich. He is the best in the world when it comes to Facebook ads, and he is the king of lead magnets. It's a foundation of his lead generation system, and this is his recommendations in terms of how to create the best lead magnets. S in the SAGE protocol stands for short. So we're talking maximum 3 to 4 minutes consumption time. Anything beyond that, people just don't have the attention span and they're not going to be able to digest it. 1 to 2 pages, usually if it's a PDF, that's the length of the lead magnet that we're looking for. Sure, if it's 3 or 4 pages, that's okay. We're just giving you some best practices in terms of ballparking what that looks like and the length of information included. Actionable, that's the second letter. This needs to provide insight and not information. So there's a difference, information and insight. What is the difference? When you have insight is basically what you're going to do with the info to produce a desired outcome. It's kind of like my business partner gave me a great example in terms of what's the difference between knowledge and information, and knowledge and insight go hand in hand. Knowledge is basically being able to apply the information. And I guess a great example is when you go to a certain location and then you return home from, when you go to a new location and then you return home from that new location, usually it's faster to return from that location than to get there. So you have to ask yourself why. The reason is knowledge. As you are going to the new location, you didn't know where it was. This is a new location, so it's the first time getting there. You're collecting information. After you had that information, now you have knowledge of how you got there, and you already know how to get back home. So usually getting back home is faster. It's a silly example, but it makes a lot of sense. G, goal-oriented. This is a big one. Usually what I see is people trying to jam-pack information and value into one document, and it's often overwhelming. People can't digest it, and this goes back to the short. It should be short, quick to consume and digest. So goal-oriented is along that line as well. Instead of taking someone from A to Z, no, we need to just take them from A to B. So don't take them from A to Z, take them from A to B. That's how we're goal-oriented. One example that I'm going to give you in terms of sticking to that is, let's say you're doing Google Ads. You don't want to teach, how to do the best Google Ads campaign. That would take hours and hours upon hours at the very least. Instead, how to do the right keyword research for your Google Ad campaign. So that's a small part of the Google Ads, and that is an example where you take them from A to B instead of A to Z. So I hope that example made sense. Lastly, easy. This should be easy for them to all over across the board, to digest, to access, and to implement. So by creating the right lead magnet, you're going to give that user a quick win. You're going to create instant value, credibility, trust, and authority. And oftentimes what I'm finding, and you might find this very funny, but the lead magnet will serve just as a trigger point to create a disruption or to create engagement with the user. Oftentimes, or the majority, is people don't even actually use the lead magnet. Would you believe that or not? It just puts them into either a nurturing sequence, or it allows us to collect that information so that we can contact that user either via email or text message. So I can't reference the importance enough of having a good quality lead magnet. Make sure it follows these best practices, and you will see this start to change your strategy and your results overall. So what types of lead magnets can we create? This gets interesting now, because if you're starting to brainstorm, well, what can I create for my business? You might be running into a dead end, but here's a quick list covering different ideas. So you can create a resource list. You can create a checklist. You can create scripts, templates, recipes, even a video. A video can serve as a lead magnet, and so on. So I hope these examples start to stimulate ideas in terms of what kind of a lead magnet can you create. This actual webinar video in the end will become a lead magnet for some of our campaigns that we're going to be doing in the future. The topic here are the 5 key elements of your website. So this is serving more like a checklist / template for generating leads and increasing revenue. So these are examples of the lead magnets you need to create, and I hope this gives you some good ideas on how to do that. So who here has all of these in place for their lead magnet, if you even have one? Love to hear your feedback. Throw it into the Q&A. So what have we reviewed? What have we learned so far? Let's look at the overview of all the 5 key elements. We have, starting number 1, the hero section. What is it? Who is it for? And is there a call to action? Authority amplification, client logos. Do we have them on our website? Do we have Google reviews on our website? Do we list any achievements that make sense, that's related to our industry and relevant to our audience? Our services or products that we offer, what do we do? Is that clear? Who do we do it for? What audience do we serve? And then why do we do it? What's the story behind our brand, behind our business? And why are you different? Case studies. And number 5, the lead magnet. So we want to collect email or text numbers, and this is literally the overview of the 5 key elements. At first glance, this might seem very basic and simple, but I challenge you to review your own website, to review any high-performing website, and see what elements here are actually in place and not in place. And when you spend the right amount of time covering each of these, you will find that your performance will increase dramatically. So what time is it now? It's time to hot seat someone from the audience. Submit your website in the Q&A chat. And if you're up to it, we're going to pop it live on the screen right now. And we're going to do a hot seat going through all of the key elements to see if you have them in place or not. Who do we got here? Do we got anybody coming up? Let's see. Any volunteers? Any volunteers? Okay. So why don't we let's pick a website. What we're going to show here is the new homepage for our new website. Will be launching in January. Looking at this quickly, we could understand, hey, who is this for? This website is for the AEC industries. We're speaking to our audience here, work with industry experts that truly understand how to market for the construction world. So we're speaking to a construction audience. And then this tagline or this heading here at the bottom is very specific. We're helping top businesses in these industries to increase sales and enhance their online reputation. So from a hero section perspective, are we satisfying all of these here now? So what is it? Yes, we understand what is it. Who is it for? We understand who is it for. And the call to action? Yes, there is a call to action. So as you can see here, the hero section is done well. And I believe we got check marks across the board for the hero section. But don't kid yourself, all of these are not in place for everything. So we're going to review them one by one. Authority amplification. Do we have that in place? Let's see. Authority amplification. If we're scrolling down the page, we have some logos here, and they're referenced in terms of our case study. So this is kind of a 2-in-1. I think the step up to improve here would be basically to add a section where we have all of our logos kind of scrolling up a little bit up higher, probably between this white and black section here. I'd recommend listing all the logos here. And again, this is part of the development of the new website, so it's in process of being done. But as we go down here, you're going to see the case studies are listed here as well. And it provides additional logos, and then we give the highlights here, which are the real meat and potatoes of what we're trying to communicate with the case studies. And then going back, so we have client logos that are going to be added. Google reviews are currently not on the site, so that needs to be done. And then any achievements are missing. So we have authority amplification in the current state. I would say it's a fail right now. Even though there are some logos with the case studies, we want more. We want a specific section of logos. And yeah, so in my opinion, at this point in time, and again, please consider the page is under development. So yeah. Number 3, overview of services. What do we do? Who do we do it for? Why do we do it? So we basically are saying, what do we do through a few different sentences here? We basically increase sales and enhance online reputation. We talk a little bit about why we are different. And this, although we provide digital marketing services, what we are selling here with this page is a free consultation. So we want to book a free consultation. And as you can see, we clearly explain the process here. So going back to our list, yes, what do we do? Who do we do it for? Why do we do it? And why we are different? So the only one that we don't click off is the why you do it. So I would say we get 75% out of 100 in terms of the overview of services. Case studies, we looked at that already. Case studies are here. We have some recent ones that are very relevant to this audience. So I think we get 100 out of 100 for the case studies. And then lead magnet, if we go back to the page, there currently is no lead magnet. But again, as I said, it is in process of being added. And you will notice once this page is launched, you will find the lead magnet added to the lower section of the page. And again, we want to collect email addresses as a result of that lead magnet. So that is the hot seat part of the call. And then lastly, what can we do to help you? We have 2 offers here. These are limited time offers. They will expire as of midnight on Friday, December the 16th, 2022. So offer number 1 is to create personas and buyers journeys for you. We're going to have you save $3,000 if you take advantage of this. Our normal rate is $6,500. So this is a limited time offer of only $3,500, and you must complete the intake form before Friday, December 16 at midnight, and you will get the form emailed to you after the webinar. In fact, if you go to your inbox, you will already find it in your inbox. Just fill out the form, and we'll be in touch with you shortly. The second offer we can help you with related to everything we talked about today is a web development package where we can update your website for you. So 40 hours is a package that is most popular with our audience, and any unused hours to update to get all of this done can be banked for future updates as well. And you're going to save $3,000 on this package. Limited time offer of only $5,000. You must complete the form again before Friday, December 16 at midnight, and the form is already emailed to you and should be in your inbox. So this is how we can help you achieve these goals. If you found value, I would love to hear your feedback. I would love to hear you're going to get a second email. So the first email you received is with the form, should already be in your inbox. You're going to get another email tomorrow that is going to ask you for feedback on this webinar. So I'd love to hear your feedback so that in the future we can create better content, more engaging webinars, and just give you the content that you want. So would love to hear your feedback, good or bad. Let me know what I can do better. And I'll see you next time in the next webinar. Thanks for attending. Have a great night. Bye-bye.